lost a lot of weight. And they kept losing weight. And they kept it off. Not like other studies where people gain it back again. And when you eat the processed American diet, it affects your brain. It damages your neurons. It decreases your creativity, your ability for your brain to function and be creative and think and be intelligent. The brain is under attack. The episodic high glucose from all those sugar and sweets and maple syrup and honey, all the things you're throwing in and the white products that you're eating. It makes you hopeless. It makes you sick. And it makes you depressed. Processed foods causes depression. There's a link between the consumption of commercial baked goods and fast food and major depression. Even 2 servings a week of commercial baked goods, like a bagel or a croissant or a pizza and a burger, 2 servings a week doubles your risk of developing depression. 51% higher risk of developing depression from 2 servings a week. And it goes up from there in a dose-dependent manner. The more fast food you eat, the higher the risk of depression you develop. Just 2 servings a week. Here's what I'm saying, though. What if you're one of those people who are eating fast food, and most Americans are eating more than 2 servings a week? They're eating white flour, 3 or 4 servings a day, and fast food 4 to 8 servings a week. And what about those people that don't get depressed? They're still brain damaged. Their brain is altered. And most Americans now have chronic dysthymia, which means that they no longer have enthusiasm about life. They're not totally depressed, but they've lost that real enthusiasm and happiness and positivity, and they've lost their being hopeful about life. And they just function and move around kind of like in a fog. They're not depressed, but they're not really a full human either. They're like an automaton. What are those movies where the people are walking like they're dead, and they're walking through the invasion of the body snatchers? What are those people called? Those zombies. Right, that's the word, zombies. We're fast food zombies in this country. We've zombified our minds. Withdrawal depression happens every time a toxic substance is withdrawn from the body. When you stop eating junk food, you feel mild depression, and it triggers the use of alcohol and drugs. We have a whole population of people sucking in poisons. The National Bureau of Economic Research reports that people who have a mental illness, which is now a big percent of Americans, and I'm saying most Americans are mildly dysthymic anyway, consume 69% of the nation's alcohol and 84% of the nation's cocaine. Why'd they get that way? Why'd they become? Well, from the processed foods that destroy the brain. And if you're diabetic or you're overweight, then you've destroyed plenty of your brain. You can't. There's the idea that people think that junk food and overeating and being overweight just causes diabetes and heart disease and cancer and doesn't destroy your brain just as much as that's going on. That's crazy and irrational. You're losing your brain function. Destroying your brain is destroying the rest of your body. You can't keep your brain function while you're eating poorly. And the amount of health in your healthy diet affects your intelligence, your production of school performance, your economic productivity, your excitement about life, your creativity, and, of course, the development of serious disease like autism. We can't, it's what we're doing to our kids. And you know what? There's a link between higher intake of sugar and fast food before age 10 and later life criminal behavior, criminal activity, and illegal drug use. We always say that. By the way, it says no other variable, not poverty, not social isolation, not bad parenting, not abusive parenting, not living in an orphanage, not economic deprivation. No other variable is as powerful as the consumption of candy and fast food in childhood and later life drug abuse. You're following this as a serious issue. You've got to be insane to eat fast food. But if you're not, it's okay. It makes you insane. Now, once you're a food addict, it takes over your brain. It takes over your thinking. You just want to be a food addict. Makes you uncomfortable or anxious to try to change. Change is uncomfortable. You have anxiety just thinking about eating a healthy diet. But you don't solve your emotional problems in life by maintaining your addictions. Your addictions direct you away from the problems in your life and takes you away from solving the problems in your life. You can't make your life right while you're seeking your addictive substance of choice. You can't be an alcoholic and be the best parent you can be. You can't be a cocaine addict and be the best productive worker and be the best thinker and start to be the best writer and be the best artist and be the best person for your community or the earth or the world. You can't be the best. You're just a shell of who you could be when you're an addict. And you can't be eating donuts and croissants and pizza and bacon and hot dog rolls. You can't be sickly and overweight and expect to be the full human being you can be, because you're just a shell of yourself. When people come into our facility and I watch them recover and lose the weight, it's amazing. Their whole personalities change. Who they are as a person change. From complaining and being irritable and unable to appreciate anything about their life or about anybody else, or being interested in other people, or being able to see the aesthetic structure of the world and appreciate nature and beauty and excitement. Their whole life changes. The fog lifts. They become a different individual. These food addictions take over their mind. And the brain wants to protect remember, you're not the full you. Your addictions have taken over the bank. And those addictions, one of the most irrational and illogical reasons, self-delusional thoughts of why it's not the right time for you to change your diet, not the right time for you to eat healthy, why you can't possibly do this, you have some excuse why you shouldn't be eating healthily, right? Some excuse. That's not real. There's no excuse. There's no reason that it can ever override why you should take better care of your health. And there's no reason why you should put it off. You shouldn't have put it off this long. When's the time to quit smoking? Yeah, a long time ago, but obviously if you're still smoking now, it's funny because I run these getaways and people come into the getaway and they're eating all this healthy food, and I start talking to them across the table and they start telling me they smoke, and I find out that they're smoking cigarettes. I go, what are you doing here eating a healthy diet if you're still smoking cigarettes? What's the whole point? Stop smoking right now. Today, now, this minute. If you're going to flood the body with nutrients, it's painful to stop smoking. It's painful to come off your diet, but do it. Why take another day of destructive behavior that may cause some damage and why continue the damage? There's no excuse. An excuse is no excuse. There's no excuse to poison yourself. But some people need extra help. Right? Because this is serious things we're talking about here. And people are psychologically destroyed, and they look to food for loneliness, and because they've been abused, or because they have a horrible life, and they've looked for food for comfort, and they develop that illicit love affair with poisonous food, and they need help recovering from that. Sometimes they need psychological counseling, that goes into their life of how they became so troubled. Sometimes they need some help to get out of the depression, withdrawal depression, maybe with some natural substances like saffron or SAMe or 5-HTP. Maybe they need some help. In other words, we want to make it, and I certainly want to make it possible for people to make the change to good health.